Every morning the small grocery store on Barton Avenue opened its doors the same way. Wooden crates, a faint smell of ripe fruit, and a quiet understanding between the man behind the counter and the neighborhood outside. Mr. Lewis had owned the store for years. He wasn't rich, he wasn't famous, but he knew something many people forgot once life became comfortable: what hunger really felt like. Times had been hard on everyone lately, but they were always hardest on the people who already had nothing. When money is short, it shrinks fast. A dollar never stretches far enough. And when families struggle just to stay fed, fresh fruit and vegetables are the first things to disappear from the shopping list. Mr. Lewis understood that better than most. That's why, near the front of his store, sat a simple wooden box. Inside it, he placed fruit and vegetables that were just a little too ripe to sell. Not rotten, not spoiled, just urgent. Food that needed to be eaten now. The people who needed it most knew that box well. Elderly neighbors with careful steps, mothers with tired eyes and too many mouths to feed. No one asked questions, no one judged. They took what they needed and moved on. Then one afternoon, a small boy appeared. He stood quietly near the box as an older woman reached in, took a few tomatoes and some oranges, thanked Mr. Lewis, and left without paying. The boy watched carefully, his brow furrowed. "Aren't you mad?" the boy asked. Mr. Lewis smiled. "Why would I be mad?" "You get mad when boys try to steal apples," the child said. "That's true," Mr. Lewis replied gently. "But this is different. This food needs to be eaten before it goes bad, and some people can't afford to buy it." The boy hesitated. "Can I have some too?" "Of course," Mr. Lewis said. "What's your name?" "Peter Dean." "Mr." Lewis disappeared for a moment, then returned with a strong paper bag. He filled it carefully with different fruits from the charity box and handed it to the boy. "Here you go. Come back anytime you need more." Peter's face lit up. He thanked him and ran off. The next day, Peter came back. And the day after that, always polite, always quiet. Sometimes, Mr. Lewis slipped a piece of fresh fruit into the bag without saying a word. And slowly, a question began to form in his mind. Who was this boy really helping? One afternoon, Mr. Lewis decided to find out. From a distance, he watched Peter walk toward a rundown house. The boy glanced around, climbed the steps, gently placed the bag of fruit by the door, and ran away. Confused, Mr. Lewis followed him farther until Peter reached another poor-looking house. This time, the boy opened the door and called out loudly, "Mom, I'm home." And that's when Mr. Lewis realized something didn't add up. Peter wasn't bringing the food home at all. The next day, when Peter came into the store, Mr. Lewis gently called him aside. "Peter," he said softly, "what do you do with the food you take? Do you give it to your mom?" Peter shook his head. "No." There was no shame in his voice, only honesty. "I take it to my grandmother's house," he explained. "She's taking care of my little cousin. She doesn't have much money because she doesn't have a job. My mom tries to help, but Grandma won't let her. She says my mom already has enough problems." "Mister!" Lewis felt his throat tighten. "So I leave the food on the porch," Peter continued. "That way she doesn't know it's me." Mr. Lewis knelt slightly to meet the boy's eyes. "Do you ever take anything for yourself?" Peter looked down. "Once," he admitted. "You put in a shiny red apple, but afterward, I felt bad. Sally needs it more than me." "Does your mom know?" Mr. Lewis asked. Peter shook his head again. "No, she's very proud. She'd be ashamed to know I took charity." Mr. Lewis stood quietly for a moment. Then he said, "Wait here." He went back into the store and filled 2 large bags to the brim, not with leftovers, but with crisp, fresh fruit and vegetables. He walked with Peter to his grandmother's house and placed the bags gently on the porch, just like Peter always did. Then they went to Peter's home. Mr. Lewis knocked. When Peter's mother opened the door, he smiled warmly. "Mrs. Dean," he said, "I own the grocery store on Barton Avenue. Peter has been helping me after school. He refuses to take money, so I've decided to pay him in goods." He placed the heavy bag into her arms. Mrs. Dean's eyes filled with tears. "He didn't tell me," she whispered. "He's a good boy," Mr. Lewis said, "and that's why I wish he were a little older." "Why?" she asked. "I'm opening another store nearby," Mr. Lewis replied. "And I need honest, hard-working people to run it." "Yes," she said without hesitation. "I'll need 2 employees," Mr. Lewis added. "Can you recommend anyone?" "My mother, Mrs." Dean said softly. "She needs the work." A month later, the new shop opened. Peter's mother and grandmother worked there side by side. They earned fair wages, they worked with pride. And at the front of the store, just like Mr. Lewis taught them, sat a familiar wooden box. And sometimes, when no one was looking, they slipped in a few extra apples. Because kindness, when shared quietly, has a way of coming back multiplied.